2023, especially for Delaware, one for the record books. Let's dissect everything that happened in the past 12 months, as well as look toward what's going to happen more than likely in the next 12 months. And if you should be concerned or excited as a buyer in Delaware in 2024. Let's break it down. So the way we're going to break this video down is we're going to go county by county and discussing the numbers in specific to that real estate market for that specific county, starting in Newcastle, then Kent, then Sussex County and the beaches, and then an overall breakdown of the state, our stats, and what it looks like to buy and sell in Delaware in 2024. So before we get into that, let me ask you, what do you know about what's currently going on in the real estate market? You may say to yourself, I know there's high interest rates, home prices are higher than normal, and maybe that inflation or affordability has a large part to do with it. None of those statements would be wrong. You may say, I don't know anything. I've been in my property or I've been renting for a while and haven't really looked into it. Or maybe you're out of state and just haven't really needed to until now. So I want to break it down in depth, in detail. And all my numbers people out there, you're going to love this. If you're not much of a numbers person, I would highly suggest thinking to yourself right now in this market, what matters? What's your timeline? Why Delaware? Why buy? Why sell? The why around moving in a market like today is more important than it's ever been, because there's much less in our experience and what we're seeing in the numbers in people who are recreationally buying and selling homes. See, we're seeing more and more purposeful purchases and selling in need-be situations, death, divorce, relocation by job, by whatever it may be. And so with that, we saw a big shift in numbers from 2022 to 2023. But numbers aside, it really does matter what and why you're looking to buy or sell, because in a market like today, interest rates are higher than standard, higher than we've seen in the modern era of the housing market. Home prices are at a historic high, but there's many arguments that say it's going to keep going up. And we are in a situation where inflation and affordability are tampering the affordability for homes and keeping the market slower than what it could be. And that affects Delaware specifically, as we've also seen an increase in the average age for buyers and sellers alike. And we've also seen first-time home buyers really get dampened down in 2023, and a lot that simply stuck to renting or quit to look at another time in hopes the housing market will crash at some point. And we'll go over these numbers now, starting in Newcastle County, and hopefully it helps you put together a plan for what your why is going into 2024 buying and selling. Newcastle County breaks down like this from 2022. In 2022, there were 7,547 homes listed onto the market. This is slightly down from the year prior, but not drastic at all. The amount of homes sold, different from the amount of homes listed. These are the homes that actually went onto the market and inevitably did transfer to another owner. Sometimes a home will come off market for one reason or another, won't sell, it was overpriced, they don't want to sell anymore. That number, 7,112. So only a 430 home difference, a 435 home difference there. That's not drastic at all, and that's backed by the fact that the days on market average was 18 days on market in 2022. That's so low. Think about that. That is an average, which means if a home is listed onto the market in Wilmington, in a neighborhood that maybe is a $460,000, $475,000 neighborhood, and a home is listed for $700,000, it's not going to sell. It's going to sit on the market, and it's going to anchor that average up, because those sellers, those unrealistic people that are just trying to get a price that they could never get for their home, it's just not going to happen, are making that number look higher than it is. So when I see an 18-day on market average, what I really see is most homes are selling in under 10 days, and some homes are going in 90 days, 120 days, falling off the market after 6 months. That's crazy. Let's compare it to 2023. 2023, this year, we had 6,256 units listed. That's down 1,300 homes nearly from last year. That's drastic. And of those 6,256 homes that listed on the market, 5,503 of them ended up selling and transferring to another owner. That is a lower percentage, a lower conversion rate than last year. Now, the amount is obviously lower, with 1,600 less homes selling than last year, but also the percentage of homes that went onto the market and actually sold got lower. And with an average days on market in Newcastle this year that shows that it did slow down ever so slightly, going from an 18-day day on market average to a 22-day on market average. And it currently sits at 21 day on market for November. And we can see that with an 18-day day on market in 2022 and now in 2023, a 4-day increase to 22 days on market. The average home in Newcastle at the end of 2024 sits right at $345,000 as the sold median, with $318,000 being the sold median at the end of 2022. So that number has also gone up significantly. That's $27,000 that the median home is now selling for in Newcastle County. And another stat to consider is currently 765 homes are live and on the market for sale in Newcastle County, and that is down from November and from October. October, we had 811 homes on the market at the end, and by the end of November, we had 781 homes on the market. A decline during this time is completely normal, but it is a slower decline than what we saw last year, with only 665 homes being on the market at this time last year. To summarize Newcastle, home prices have been going up quarter by quarter for the last 3.5 years. So to start to see a slight slowdown, if not decline, in the median sold price is something I'm going to expect going into quarter one and quarter two of 2024. We are seeing an increase in the month supply of inventory, currently at 1.8, but at times last year was as low as 0.8, 1.2, and 1.1 months, meaning if no one listed their house and we only had enough homes that were what currently was on the market, we'd only have that many months worth of homes. Currently, we sit at 1.8 months of inventory in Newcastle, meaning we would survive about 50 days of buyer demand if no other homes came on the market. And that is a strong seller's market. And Newcastle will probably continue to be in a strong seller's market all through 2024, but they will see a slowdown in the momentum of their prices, possibly even seeing a slight decline as demand wavers slightly and supply being the amount of homes that are physically listed on the housing market. On to Kent County. If you don't know Kent County, that is our most central county, Newcastle being the closest to Philadelphia, New Jersey, all that up north. Kent County features Dover, parts of Smyrna and Milford on either side, Felton, Magnolia, Camden, the Dover Air Force Base, the NASCAR track, popular landmarks in the area, and they saw a very, very interesting market in 2023 and very different from its counterpart in Newcastle. Let's break it down. So last year, 2,959 homes got listed, with 2,595 of them actually closing and transferring to a new owner. Very similar to Newcastle in the fact that in 2022, most homes that got listed inevitably sold. And the median price for homes in 2022 was right around $305,000 in Kent County, with the days on market being only 22. So again, very, very fast selling market, a seller's market indeed. And 2022, many people were able to get their home on and off the market in under a week in Kent County. All right, so for 2023, you'll remember with Newcastle, there was a steep drop between the amount of homes that were listed in 2022 and 2023, over 1,000 home difference. In Kent County, there were 2,964 homes listed in 2023. Meaning there were more homes listed than there were last year. Very interesting, as Newcastle County sees a stark decrease in listings year over year, while Kent County sees relatively the same number. Now, with the amount of homes listed number being similar to 2022, what does the amount of homes sold look like? Well, the amount of homes listed, 2,964, 2,370 of those ended up selling to another owner. That's a decrease in ratio to amount of homes listed to amount of homes sold, with last year about 220 more homes selling. With that being said, the median sold prices also increased from last year, going from $305,000 to now peaking just over $325,000. Now, Kent County also shares a very stark and interesting difference from Newcastle County and Sussex alike, which we'll get into, that the inventory in November and December, which classically for all three counties goes down, declines from what we had in October, September, or August. It usually looks kind of like this on the graph and then zooms down for November and December, starts to flatten out into January and February, March, April, picks back up in the spring. But Kent County is not showing that data. So last year in October, there were 485 homes available for purchase in Kent County at the end of the month. By the end of November, it was 473, and by the end of December, it was 410. This year, the number in October was 499 homes. The number in November at the end was 513 homes. And as we sit in the close to end of December, we are still accumulating with 518 homes on the market. What does that mean? Well, let's summarize Kent County and talk about what should be expected walking into 2024. At a median price of $325, that's 20 grand lower than Newcastle County, but interest rates are still heavily affecting this market, leaving homes above 450 to 500 sometimes to sit for a bit longer, and we're starting to see that creep down the price points to even the high and mid 300s, where homes just aren't selling as quickly as they were. Putting that in the context, the average days on market right now for Kent County is 35 days, which is over a month. Now, 65 days is considered a neutral / verging on a buyer's market. So don't get any really crazy ideas thinking that 33 is a high days on market. It means that most homes are selling in 2 weeks or less. And again, some are sitting for a long period of time, bringing that average to about in the middle at 33. So in 2024 for Kent County, here's what I'm seeing is going to happen. We're currently seeing the monthly supply of inventory, which again is the amount of homes that are actively available for the current buyer demand based off the amount of months. So how many months could we supply buyers with homes based off current demand and the amount of homes we have? It's just that equation. And in 2022, Kent County was primarily under 2 months, usually sitting around 1.7 to 1.5 months of inventory that can be purchased at any one time, where in 2023, as we're ending it, we're sitting at 3.2 months, which is double and increasing because demand is getting colder and colder, and inventory, as we said, even going against standard historical norms for our market, is going up month over month, leading me to believe that inventory will continue to accumulate up until the spring market, and we may start seeing some price decreases and overall a correction in the Kent County housing market. We'll more than likely see well over 3,000 homes listed in 2024, with a month's supply of inventory probably not dipping below 2 months and not getting back to that super white hot sellers market. At the same exact time, I do think home prices don't decline steeply, but do stick around or fall below that 325 median that we're sitting at as we speak. All right, so that's enough numbers about Kent. We've heard Newcastle. Let's talk about Sussex. If you don't know about Sussex County, we got awesome up and coming cities: Milford, Milton, Harbison, Millsboro. There's a lot of awesome little areas, Ocean View, in Sussex County. There's also a lot of farmland, rural areas: Georgetown, Bridgeville, Greenwood. It's easy to almost say it with a twang to it when you say Greenwood, you know? That's the type of area you're getting. But you also have the beaches. You have Lewis, you have Rehoboth, you have Dewey, you have Bethany, you have all the way down to what we almost claim with, Ocean City verging on Fenwick, which is actually ours. Ocean City's Maryland. But there's a lot to do and a lot of different variables in Sussex County. One of the biggest variables of Sussex County we have to take into consideration is the vacation market and the new construction market, because it is so different from every other area of the state. Let's talk about it. So in 2022 in Sussex County, we saw 7,334 homes hit the market, which is very similar to the number we saw in Newcastle County at 7,547. And 6,037 of those homes ended up actually selling off to another owner. The average days on market was just over a month at 31 days, or I guess it depends on how you look at a month. I guess it could be a month. And the median sold price, $439,950. So $440,000. That's over $100,000 different from Kent and Newcastle County. That's interesting, isn't it? Most people from the outside looking in think Newcastle County is our most expensive county. And based off of the scope or how vast the area that you can find expensive housing in Newcastle, yes, there's more areas where you can find $400,000, $500,000, and $600,000 homes in Newcastle by landmass. But in the beach areas, especially in Sussex County, there are tight conglomerates of $800, $900 million properties that offer so much as far as entertainment, amenities, and of course, they're near the beaches. That's why I love using the median number instead of the average. But even with that being said, the median home is still going over $100,000 more than Newcastle and Kent County. Now, moving into 2023, we had 7,255 homes listed, slightly down from the 7,334 of last year. But what's more than slightly down is the amount of homes that actually sold, because that number is 5,283, and the average days on market, 49 days as we sit here in December. Now, what does that mean? Sussex County's market is much larger in terms of inventory than any of the other two markets. In fact, it could fit the Kent County market and the Newcastle County market into its inventory and then have some. This has a lot to do with the fact that Sussex County and the beach areas specifically have so much new construction, new neighborhoods, new communities, one-off builds. They're everywhere. You can't go more than a half mile without seeing a new community popping up on the west side of Route 13 or a brand new home being built right off the highway near the beach. They're everywhere. And the amount of homes on the market reflects it. So I'll give you a great number here. At the beginning of 2022, we had 916 homes on the market in Sussex County. That's similar to a Newcastle. But by the end of that year, they were at 1,392 homes. So, whoa, they saw a big increase in the amount of homes that were on the market as opposed to Kent and Newcastle. And that has to do with homes that are new construction, kind of altering those numbers. Now, as we sit here in 2023, December, we have just over 1,700 homes on the market. And that's not a number that we're seeing anywhere else. Like I said, that could fit both of the other counties' markets into it and then some. Why is that? And to give that answer, let's summarize Sussex County and what you should expect for 2024. The month's supply of inventory for Sussex County has gone over even 4 months supply here in this last year and is sitting right on that edge at 3.8 months worth of inventory available if no other people listed their home and all the buyer demand we had started to eat it up. Now, that might seem like a high number, but it's actually a very healthy number, especially seeing as we have a huge amount of inventory available in Sussex County. And that may seem like a high number, but a market that sits between 4 and 6 months of inventory is actually seen as a pretty neutral and average housing market. And with the amount of inventory that they have, there's plenty to be supplied to anybody looking to buy down at the beaches, farm, rural areas, or even getting in the Milford, Millsboro, like I'd said. Now, the sold median the past year evened out. It actually came down a little bit from last year. Last year's was 439,950. This year's was 334,900. Slight decrease, but I think we're going to keep seeing that happen. Again, nothing that's going to make headlines, but a year where we see a 2 to 3, even 4% decline in prices in Sussex County could very well happen, and that number could differ based off different sections of Kent County, Newcastle County, and Sussex County as far as how their prices could differ. But Sussex County will be the most dramatic just because of how many different micro markets are within it that are building up like wildfire to support more and more people that want to be near and at the beaches. And then on the other side of Sussex County, you have this whole other ecosystem that's very rural, that's very farmland, that connects to Maryland, and you don't even know you've left the state when you've done it because it's just trees and fields. I think we see a slight price decrease in the median and average for 2024 in Sussex County. And overall, I think it stays pretty neutral, sitting right at about 4 months of inventory because they have so much inventory that they're keeping on the market with new construction. And they have plenty of cash buyers that are selling their homes, getting their equity out in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. You could go to Vermont, Maine. You can look all up the East Coast and find people that are selling their home 400, 500, 650,000 and taking that money and buying whatever they want, putting a great down payment down and getting their beach home in Delaware. I'm going to say beach home. You're not on the sand for 650, but you could be within a nice 5-10 minutes. All right, let's summarize Delaware overall 2024. What are we going to see? We're going to see price points more than likely stay where they're at or county by county, a slight decrease up and down. Newcastle, we could continue to see demand surge with low inventory and see them see a slight increase in their price points year over year at the end of 2024, where Kent County is seeing an increase in supply year over year and could see prices come down, if not stay neutral next year, if we don't see a stronger surge in inventory, while buyer demand stays kind of in the middle, kind of neutral, lowish, just because of high interest rates. And Sussex County, if we were to cut it up into two different sections between the beach and secondary vacation home market and the rural side of Sussex County, I see that side of Sussex County continue to increase in price point, a couple percentage points year over year as more and more people build out in those areas. And then the beach market, we can continue to see a lot of new construction hitting, a lot of inventory being available, but with interest rates and with higher price points for everything everywhere, eggs, power bills, buying a car, it's all more expensive. I see a slight decrease in price point as they do have the largest inventory of all of them. Overall, the median sales price in Delaware falls to about $350,000 to end the year. I do think that number anchored wise is going to fall in the 335 to 345 range at the end of the year. But I want to throw one devil's advocate that could change all of that. And to show you that, there was a report done recently that showed that if rates were to hit 6.5%, that over 5 million Americans would now qualify for a home. That number gets closer to 10 million if you get to 6%. And if you get below 6%, it goes wild. And we know supply and demand. If you don't, I'll explain it real quickly. If we have increased demand for a product and we don't see an increase in its inventory, the amount of product available to buy, we are going to see price points go up. If the opposite happens and we see an increase in inventory over 2024 that we don't see a match in demand with, it stays very low, less people buy, and inventory keeps creeping up, we could see price points decrease or correct down. That's just the math of it. And the math is stating not a lot of massive movement could happen with regards to what we currently know. The Fed is going to be dropping rates, as they said, 6 times in 2024. That should lead to lower rates. And NAR, Freddie, and Fannie Mac have both said, or all three said, I should say, rates will come down. Anywhere between 6.15 and 6.8% is where they expect the year to end. But what do you think? Would love to hear what you think about this breakdown, what you think about the future of the housing market in Delaware, what you plan to do, either buying or selling in this great state of Delaware, and what do you think our future looks like for this year and beyond? Looking forward to talking with you. This has been Zachary Faust with the Loft Team, powered by Real Broker here in Dover, and we're always bringing good information and up-to-date real stats on what's going on in the Delaware market. So like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when we're posting and can be involved in the conversation. Talk to you then.